ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We have been looking at the verses 16 and 17 in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and in these verses the topic goes from Antaranga Sadhana back to Bahiranga Sadhana. As we have noted many times before, the topics in this chapter, the topics are a little bit all over the place, not just in one place. So then here in the 16th and 17th verses, we have some very good advice on how to live in moderation. That's the best way of putting it. In moderation, how to live. Let us chant those verses. नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य न चाति स्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. So we saw the first two lines. Na ati ashnataha for the overeater. There is no dhyana, no possibility of meditation. So actually no possibility of a spiritual life either, because there is a lot, the mind is towards the food, what to eat, what to not eat, how much to eat, all these things. The mind is completely focused on food, and it's not good for the health, and it's not good for the ojas of the body or the tejas of the mind. So if on the days that one overeats, for example, it's very difficult to do anything else. We find that when you overeat, what happens? It's very difficult to do anything else. You just have to kind of write off the day. And then by contrast, nacha ekantam anashnatah. Again, if you don't eat at all, the mind is constantly going towards food. Pasta, yay namaha, where is the pasta? Where is the pizza? Where is this? Where is that? Where is samosa? Oh, they are eating, they are doing this, and otherwise, and then also there are otherwise health problems, such as the ulcers and nutritional deficiencies, all these things. And then nacha ati swapnashilasya. So ati swapnashila means not the one who is dreaming. Swapna generally means dream, but here swapna means the sleep. So here is the person sleeps at night and then sleeps during the Upanishad class, sleeps during the Gita class, and of course before that sleeps during the meditation. Why? Because there is a sleep deprivation. When the person is supposed to sleep, they are not sleeping. And so naturally, when they are not supposed to sleep, sleep comes. And so too much sleep here also means the wrong kind of sleep at the wrong time. Staying up all night and then hoping to meditate in the morning, that is a terrible setup. So that is the idea. Yukta means one is together. It's all in moderation. Let's say you're reading a really wonderful book. You want to just not keep it down. Okay, one day maybe you slept at midnight because the book was so interesting. Okay, cut yourself some slack, it's all right. But then if you do this the next day and the next day and the next day, you're not a superhuman being. Nobody can do that. And so like this, the ati swapna shilasya, and means the person who is sleeping all the time, attack of tamas, because sleeping at the wrong time, sleeping all the time, and then on the other end of the continuum, who is there? The person who is awake all the time, jagratah, all the time awake. For them also, there is no meditation possible. So this is going to be summed up in the next verse about how to become a yogi, what to do for to become a yogi, how to prep the body and the mind to meditate. And here it says yukta aharaha, yukta viharaha. So yuktahara viharaha, it's a compound. आहारश्च विहारश्च आहारविहारौ युक्तौ यस्य, for whom the ahara, the eating, the vihara, any other movements during the course of the day are yukta, appropriate. Yukta here now we can define as appropriate. Appropriate. So ahara we already saw in the 16th verse, in the previous verse. Do not eat too much and do not eat too little. But what is too much? There is a formula for that. So one day eat your full stomach, you can't even breathe. Maybe that will be, let us see, 12 chapatis and some rice and then some sabji and then one sweet. Maybe they have made malpua or jalebis or some kheer they have made. So eat all of that. Then go to what the Ayurveda says. The Ayurveda Charaka Samhita says, Purayet Ashanena Ardham. So the stomach must always be half filled after the meal. So if the quota of the person is 12 chapatis and 250 grams of rice and then some sabji and dal and then what else? And some rice pudding, cut all of them in half. So 6 chapatis, 100 or 125 grams of rice, cooked rice, and then what else? And then you also make some, you cut some slack for yourself by either skipping the sweet or eating very little of it. And same thing with the dal and the sabji in moderation. Oh, but I'll be hungry. That is the whole idea. Purayet ardham ashanena, udaram. So the stomach is half filled with the food that you normally eat, and then out of that 1/4 is filled for water, because without water it cannot digest. Oh, but then 1/4 is there for dessert. Wrong. The last quarter should be kept empty for vayoho sancharanartham, for the airs. The air here is not wind, but vital airs. Samana vayu, the digestive fire, etc. Digestive vayu, digestive fire, Vaishvanara, all of them have to do their magic. And so they have to digest the food. It's just like a washing machine. If you overload it fully and then put the switch and start it, what will happen? It will clog because there is no space for the agitation to happen. The water and the clothes and should move around in the soap. That is not happening, and so therefore what? So therefore this the stomach also is like that. So you eat half and then quarter you fill with water and the rest you keep empty. So yuktahara, vihara also, moving around, not too much, not too little. So vihara we can take also as exercise. Some people jog till they drop dead. I mean literally. Just jogging, jogging all the time and with weights and everything, just running, and doing all the time. That also will have health consequences. So I keep that in moderation. And then it says, Yukta cheshtah karmasu. Yukta cheshtah. Yukta cheshta yasya. For whom the movement is appropriate. Movement means whatever one has to do in terms of karma. So one doesn't overdo, one doesn't underdo. Here, this must be directed towards workaholics who cannot leave the work, all the time are working. And now, with this work from home disease, where the home has become the office and you never can knock it off, you can never knock off the work. All the time, you are just thinking of work, and work alone. So this is the yukta cheshtasya karmasu. With reference to the karma, yukta cheshta. Cheshta is yukta. You neither overdo nor underdo. And then yukta swapna avabodhasya. Swapna, sleep. Avabodha means what? Awakening. So, with regard to the awakening, the waking period and sleeping period are also very nicely measured. So, if there is some illness, you need more rest. And so, you have to be able to say yes to rest. And you need to withdraw and rest if there is some illness, sleep deprivation, etc. The rest of the time, you can be up and alert. And so, deciding all that. And so for this, so this kind of a life is called yoga here. So yuktatvat yoga. So the yoga of meditation. Why? Because even when I'm not meditating, I'm leading a mindful, alert, and therefore meditative life. So what happens? By the practice of this yoga, dukkha bhavati. Dukkha means what? Sorrow. Dukkha means that which kills sorrow. So when I am mindful of how much I eat, how much I move, what kind of activities I do, etc., I am practicing the yoga of killing sorrow. That is basically what it is. I'm practicing the yoga of killing the sorrow because there is all these life of moderation that is emphasized is very important for happiness. How does it make one happy? Because you don't have to worry about overeating. You don't have to worry about overdoing. And then you are alert and alive to the realities all the time. And therefore, this yoga makes it sorrow free. Further, yada viniyatam chittam, yada viniyatam chittam, आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा तदा युक्तः इति उच्यते. Tada means then yuktah iti uchyate. Yuktah iti uchyate tada. So for first what? Yada. Yada, when certain conditions are met, when the mental activities are withdrawn, and then goes back to the focus, goes back to the attention, goes back to Atma and stays there. Why? Because the person is devoid, nispriha, nirgata, spriha, yasmat, nispriha, from whom the desire has departed. With reference to what? Sarvakamebhyah, from all the kamas, devoid of all desires pertaining to objects, anatma. So the mind no longer dwells in anatma. Then where does it dwell? Of course, atmani eva avatisthate. And then such a person, yuktaha iti uchyate. Uchyate by whom? Manishinaha. By the manishina, by the wise person. By the wise person, uchyate. The panditaihi uchyate. By the pandits, declare such a person to be yukta. So you see, here is a very interesting thing. 17 and 16 are they give the definition of the word yukta from the standpoint of the outer practices of the life, and then here who is a yukta is defined from the standpoint of the inner practices. Okay, so that is something which is very nice to know and remember, enjoy. And so here the yada viniyate chittam, viniyatam chittam. So first, so now from the verse 18, 16, 17, 18, yeah, from 18 onwards, we have how to do the dhyanam and its phala. Okay, so then yada viniyatam chittam, when the mind, chittam, mind, when the mind is withdrawn from what? Sarvakamebhyah, because the mind is focused and obsessed with anat. Now so withdraw the mind from that thought which is connected to various objects and various longings. The thought is there, but then I don't go behind the thought. This is what we have seen in meditation. I don't go behind the thought. Thought is there. Thought comes, thought goes. And we are not, and I'll speak about it a little more, we are not looking for a state of thoughtlessness in meditation. That is not an achievement. And that is not a necessary achievement at all. In sleep already you are thoughtless. What did you gain? Because otherwise in sleep, if that thoughtlessness is there, then waking up I should have moksha. But waking up the person doesn't have moksha. The person is same as usual. And so what use is the temporary thoughtlessness? Because of this temporary thoughtlessness, nothing I get other than a longing for some strange mystical idea, and then all that we will see. But for now, it's enough to say that withdrawing the mind from the external objects, meaning the thought connected to those objects, because how does the mind connect to the objects in the waking state? Through the sense organs. It relies on the sense organs to get the information from the sense organs. But in meditation, the sense organs are not active. Eyes are closed. And so how does it connect to the mind outside? How does the mind connect to objects outside? Through thoughts, through the vritti. So I do not entertain those vrittis. So this is Atmadhyanam. So this is called Atmadhyanam here. So meaning it is a kind of a contemplation advised for people who have already studied Vedanta, but also we can modify that and apply it to people who want to study Vedanta, same thing. So the mind is removed, the mind is withdrawn from entertaining various thoughts. And how does that happen? Sarva kamebhyah nisprihah, by dropping anatma. How do I drop the anatma? By not having any longing for it. There is no anatma. Really speaking, everything is atma. But here, while I'm trying to develop a rich inner life, the muscles of a very rich inner life, certain things have got to go. The constant obsession with this one and that one, and what is this one doing, what is the grandson doing, what is the child doing, what is the spouse doing, what should I do now, where should I go, all this is not at all entertained. When the thought goes there, bring the mind back. Yato yato nischarati tatas tatas sanyamya etat. So this is how he's going to say that little later, I think in the 23rd verse. Each time it goes, bring the mind back. Because if the mind goes, if the mind does not go, it is not meditation. So if the mind does not go, it's not meditation, it is samadhi. Here we are talking of dhyanam. Samadhi discussion will come a little later. And so here, the sarva kamebhyah, from all objects of desire, nisprihah san, being uninvolved, being uninvolved. How to be uninvolved? Go back and listen to chapters 2 through 5 all over again, because there we have talked about how to be uninvolved and how to do only what one is supposed to do, so that the desire and the doing are aligned. And so kamya karma is given up, therefore kama is also given up slowly, even in karma yoga. All this we have seen. And so what happens? What happens is that there is the vritti in the mind becomes sajatiya vritti pravaha takes place, a flow of the same kind of vritti. If one is doing contemplation, then the same kind of vritti is what? I, aham, aham, aham. Now, Satchidanandoham, this is the vritti. Soham, that is the vritti. And if I am doing the Saguna Brahma Upasana type of meditation that we have seen, then Om Namah Shivaya is the vritti. Om Ishaya Namaha is the vritti. Any other mantra that I have got that I want to chant is the vritti. That is the vritti. And so then from anatma, the vrittis are called back, recalled. Come back. You send them a notice, eviction notice. From anatma, the vrittis are evicted. If the vrittis are evicted from anatma, the mind also, which is going along with the vrittis, is evicted from anatma. And where else can it abide? Only in atma. So atma-friendly vrittis, such as Ishvara, focusing on Ishvara, or focusing directly on words that describe the Atma in the Upanishads, provided one has studied. Otherwise, Vedantic meditation is not possible. That's why even in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which describes all these things, and from which heavily Lord Vyasa has borrowed the practices, not the philosophy. Because we do not agree with the yoga philosophy, where the highest attainment is a thoughtless state. We do not say that the thoughtless state is necessary or even the truth of the I. If the I is disturbed by thoughts, then that means the thoughts are more powerful than the Atma. Thoughts become Atma then, because I want that which is the ultimate. If thoughts are, disturbing the Atma, then thoughts become the more powerful than the Atma. We say that which is neither disturbed by sound nor by silence, that which is not disturbed by thoughts or by thoughtlessness. That is what we say. We are not aiming to have a thoughtless state, and neither that is recommended nor that is necessary. So the philosophy is that to recognize oneself despite the thoughts. Despite the thoughts, I am free. In spite of the thoughts, there is silence. In spite of the thoughts, there is freedom. And that is what we do. So here we have a departure from the yoga as a system of philosophy. But in terms of practices, we are very much aligned. So in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we find there is yama, certain kind of positive do's, and then niyama, don'ts. So, all these things are there, ahimsa, asteya, all these things, not to steal, not to injure, etc. All these things are there. And then yama, niyama, asana, yogasana, very important. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, very important. The regulating of the breath is directly connected to the regulation of the emotions, and also the physical body. It is very, very useful. So we take that pranayama. Pratyahara, this is what is described in this verse, withdrawing of the mind unto itself, unto the truth of itself. Pratyahara, check, no problem. Then dhyana, the dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. We don't have a problem with all that. But where we depart is in the philosophical or the knowledge portion, because there we don't disagree. We don't agree with them that that is the goal. So here, what Bhagavan Vyasa has done is culled the practices of the yoga system, Patanjali's yoga system of philosophy, and discussed this here in the form of these many verses. So then, when the anatma vrittayaha are gone, then what happens? The mind is free to dwell on Atma. It's very simple. If your hands are full of objects, then if I ask you, okay, take this book also, hold this book, there is no room. But if the hands, you put the objects down, then you come and receive the book. That is exactly what is the idea. The mind should be free to dwell on Atma, and when the mind is withdrawn from the preoccupation with anatma, how? In the form of thoughts, then Atmani eva avatisthate. The mind has to dwell in Atma, because all that there is Atma. And so don't take that literally, dwelling in Atma, and the Atma is located somewhere and the mind has to fix on that. No. In fact, I'm going to up everything I said earlier. How? I'm going to say that wherever the mind dwells, it is Atma alone. Oh, then why did you say, nispriha sarva kamebhyah and yada viniyatam chittam, etc.? I didn't say that. Lord Krishna said that. Okay, why did he say that? He said that because in the beginning this is not understood. This is not understood. This is a very important piece in Vedanta knowledge. That all this is Atma alone. Nothing is outside the Atma. If you don't know that, or if you are still in the process of knowing that, better withdraw the mind from anatma and bring it back. That is the idea. So then, repeated bringing back, then what happens? It is what is that? It is so here, fix the atma on the mind. It is not possible to fix the all-pervading consciousness. The mind is never away from atma. Vrittis are never away from consciousness. That which is never away is from that which can never be away from that awareness. That awareness is called what? Consciousness. So then what do you mean? Mind abiding in atma. It means that there is a corresponding thought. That's why we are not having thoughtlessness. So from anatmakara vritti, I come back to atmakara vritti. The vritti in the form of atma. And how is this vritti initiated? This vritti is initiated in the words through the repetition or the rumination or chewing of the cud of the words of the Upanishad. Like I said, aham brahmasmi, ayam atma brahma, tattvamasi, all these things. These are all called atmakara vritti or akhandakara vritti. The thought pattern connected with the Sakshi, which is very, very close to consciousness, because the Sakshi has dropped all the roles. And so there, then what happens? Atmani eva avatisthate. The mind which was disturbed by various thoughts which had nothing to do with one another, then yoga iti uchyate. Atmani eva atisthate. This is called yoga, this is called dharana, this is called samadhi. So, samadhi itself is savikalpa samadhi. When it is divided into two, when there is a thought, then it is savikalpa samadhi, and when there is, it's not that nirvikalpa samadhi doesn't have thoughts. Thoughts are there, but we are not focusing on the thoughts. That is the idea. Nirvikalpa Samadhi has been needlessly glorified and mystified. It is not mystical at all. Let's say you're watching a movie, or even a better example, these days we have, for a small fee, I don't know if they have it in India, abroad they have these Google glasses and everything. So nothing else you can see. It's just like a rubber fitted glasses like this, and then the person is made to sit there. And then they also are made to wear a seat belt. First, I didn't understand why. They're not going anywhere? Why should they wear a seat belt? Then after that, it became very evident why they have to wear a seat belt, because when the person presses a button, makes them see things, and makes them see sometimes frightening things, like they are being charged by a herd of cattle. All kinds of cows and bulls are coming at them, and the people are going like this. The people are jerking, and they would have fallen off the chairs if they were not belted to the chairs. It's really funny, because they are jerking, they are trying to run away, they are falling off, they are agitated because they are seeing everything, and it's the 3D glasses, so it all looks extremely real, and then they are all affected by that. They are extremely affected by that. And then what? Then that show is over, and then they realize that they were jerking, and and then doing all kinds of hand movements, face movements, mouth movements, and they are screaming also, and they are saying, oh no, oh, ha, who, all that they are saying, and then they are saying this for no reason at all. For no reason at all. And so this is this is exactly how the mind is usually. This is where it is. There is a show. There is all kinds of there is how in the everyday world the mind gets totally absorbed in what one is doing. So one is enjoying the samadhi while wearing Google glasses. One is enjoying the samadhi while reading a very, very catchy book, some kind of murder mystery. Oh, who did this? Oh my God, this is how it is. Oh my God, who did this? Let's find out. And I can't keep this book down. And then one is in samadhi. Somebody comes and knocks on the door. You don't even hear it. Do you hear it? Yes. But the mind is not there. The mind is absorbed. So it's as good as not hearing it. Somebody calls on the phone. You barely hear the phone. And do you have thoughts? Yes, you have thoughts. You have sajatiya vritti pravaha. Some vijatiya vrittis are also there. But you don't pay attention to them. That's why it looks like there are no thoughts. And so you don't pay attention to them. So here we get the first definition of samadhi here. What the mind, that which is called yoga, which is here samadhi. What is that? That which is called yoga is the abidance in the Atma, the withdrawing of the mind from all other distractions and abidance in the Atma. Further, यथा दीपो निबातस्थः यथा दीपो निबातस्थः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनां यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः Yunjato yogamatmanaha. And in the next mantra, a very nice simile is given. An imagination is given. What is that? Yatha deepaha nivataha. Nivataha nivataha deepavat. So, like the light. What kind of light? The light that is the light that has that is not an electric light, but what kind of a light are we talking about? We are talking about a light that has no wind. Usually, when a lamp is there, a flame, then there is the wind which blows this way or that way, and you see the wind through the flame. You see the wind through the flame because the flame is indicating which direction the wind is moving, how the flame is also moving. Flame is also moving along with the wind. And so the flame here is the mind, and then the mind is also flickering, going in and out of various preoccupations, various thoughts. And this is the Sa Upama. So let us look at the verse. Yatha Deepaha Nivatasthaha. Nivatah Deepah Sthaha. So like this, the lamp in a windless place, just as it does not flicker. Sa upama smrita. Na ingdate, does not move. Sa upama smrita. This simile is remembered. This simile is mentioned where? In the Shastra. And what is that? Nivatastha. Nivatastha means in a windless place. Na ingate, does not flicker like what? The lamp. Therefore, for the yogi, yoginaha, who is this yogi? Yatachittasya. Yoginaha is also in sixth case. Yatachittasya is also in sixth case. This yogin, the word is nakaranta, na ending, and then yatachittasya is a ending. That's the only difference. For the yogi of the disciplined mind, yunjataha. Yunjataha means joining. For the yogi of a disciplined mind, yunjataha, who is joining what? The Atma, joining the mind with the self. This is, don't take it literally. For the yogi who is joining the Atma. Of course, one is never away from the Atma, as I said, but here the person is focusing on the Atma at the cost of all other thoughts, and therefore the mention here of bringing it back. So, like a windless lamp. So, if you want the lamp to be windless, what do you do if you want the flame to not flicker? You have to provide a little enclosure, maybe a glass enclosure or something. So if you want the mind to not flicker, of course you can't put a glass enclosure. But later on, I think in 33 or 32 somewhere, in this chapter itself, it is going to be pointed out that the mind is protected by abhyasa and vairagya. The mind is trained by abhyasa. Repeated practice is the protection from the flickering. Number one. Number two, vairagya. Vairagya means letting go of other thoughts, and then the flickering also comes to a stop. So that is the yoginaha yatachittasya yunjataha yoginaha, the yogi that is joining oneself to the pitching himself to the Atma as opposed to all the things. This is what is talked about. The next three talk about Samadhi. Okay, because they all have the yatra, the word, where. See here also. Yatra uparamate chittam. Yatra na chaiva ayam sthitaha. Yatra na chalati. And then yam labdhva. Yasmin. All this is description of samadhi. Okay, and so the next three verses talk about samadhi and its benefits. Samadhi again is not a thoughtless state, but a state of absorption. So let us chant these verses. Yatro paramate chittam, yatro paramate chittam, niruddham yoga sevaya, niruddham yoga sevaya, yatra chaivatmanatmanam, yatra chaivatmanatmanam, पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति, पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति, सुखमात्यान्तिकं यत्तत्, सुखमात्यान्तिकं यत्तत्, बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्, बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्, वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्, वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्, स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः, स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः, यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभम्, यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभम्, मन्यते नाधिकं ततः, मन्यते नाधिकं ततः, यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन, यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन, गुरुणापि विचाल्यते, गुरुणापि विचाल्यते. That's enough, these three verses. That is plenty for now. Okay. Yatra. Yatra means where. Where means what? They haven't given us a place. They are saying where. Meaning in which state. In which state. Yatra means in which state. In which mental state. In which meditative state. So, and that meditative state is what? Samadhi. Yatra, in which samadhi, uparamate chittam. Uparamate means there is a cessation. Cessation. Uparamate means there is a tranquility. The mind is like a quiet lake. So, yatra uparamate chittam. The mind is like a quiet, tranquil lake. Meaning, not that there are no thoughts, but the thoughts do not disturb because of the practice of the meditation and the Vedanta inquiry. I know I am not the thoughts. I know I am not the sum total of my thoughts. That's why the thoughts do not disturb. And yatra uparamate chittam, how? Niruddham, because it is disciplined. It has stopped going to places where I have not allowed it to go. I have recalled the mind, come back, come back. This is not the time to think about so and so. This is not the time to think about a foreign vacation. This is not the time to think about food. Lunch is very far away. Dinner is further away still. Come back. So this practice, niruddham, it is, the mind is now quiet, restrained, like the horses with the reins. The reins here are the mind, the horses are thoughts and vrittis and sense organs. And then what? How did it get to this place? Yoga sevaya. Through the practice of yoga, it got to this place. Sevaya. Sevaya means here practice. Through the practice of yoga, what yoga? Dhyana yoga. Through the practice of meditation, I have become like this, yoga sevaya. By the practice of meditation, the mind has become quiet, and then what happens? Yatra means yasmin sthitau, in which place cha eva, indeed, atmana atmanam pashyan tushyati. Three words are there, three times atma, atma, atmanam, atmana, one, atmanam, two, atmani, tushyati, three, atman. Three occurrences just in the second line. And what does that mean? Yatra cha eva, and further, where, in which condition, in which state one sees, seeing, pashyan, seeing again within inverted quotes. There is no seeing, there is living, there is being, and the seeing we have to translate as being. So, in which state, where, being which, inhabiting which, that's better, being which or inhabiting which. Further, what does one see? What happens? Atmana, by oneself, Atmanam, the truth of oneself, Atmani, in oneself, Tushyati. Tushyati. Atmana, Atmanam Pashya, Atmana, Atmanam Sampashya, Atmani Tushyati. So, two things are there here. First, seeing the truth of oneself, by oneself, in oneself, one rejoices. One rejoices in oneself by seeing the truth of oneself, by seeing the truth of oneself by oneself. So many oneselves. We will the real self please get up and advertise itself. What does this mean? So here there are two definitions of samadhi hidden here. One is chitta uparama. Chittoparama. Chitta uparama means the tranquility of the mind. The mind is relaxed and tranquil, and it is not going here, not going there, not swerving from this. And that's why it's called samadhi, the mind. Dhi means mind. Sama, tranquil. And then, so that is like a calm lake with which the jnani is often compared. And then the mind is tranquil, and then then what is, by what? How is the mind become tranquil? By the exercise of withdrawal, repeated withdrawal from this tentative separation which I have, Atma and Anatma, which is needed in the beginning because the two are mixed up. So from Anatma Prapancha, the mind is withdrawn from Anatma, and then Anatma means what? All the roles, statuses, and job, and all kinds of things, problems, etc. All that, one has withdrawn. So the niruddham, and how is that? Through the practice of meditation, one has withdrawn. Then what happened? We are not, as I said, we are not really interested in silencing the mind. And so the second definition is the seeing of the Atma. How to see the Atma? That's why the meditation chapter is chapter 6, after the knowledge has been given. That is how one keeps seeing the words of the Guru, seeing the words of the teaching, seeing the words of the Shastra, which I gained through Shravanam, I am repeatedly bringing back. Because there is no other way of meditating upon the Atma, Atma not being a object. There is no other way to meditate. There is no possibility. And then where does this Atma Darshanam happen? In the Atma itself. In the Atma. It's like I've given the example before, like the cow chewing the cud. The cow is chewing the cud, and so therefore Atmanam means, Atmanam here, Atma. Atmani here means, the seventh case, Atmani means in the mind. In the mind. So Atmana means with the help of the mind. So look here, Atmana and Atmani means mind. So Atmana, here it is hidden, Atmana, by the mind, and in the mind, what do I see? The truth of myself, Atmanam. So I connect to that truth of myself. That is what is being talked about here, very beautiful. And then, so that is the tushyati. Antahkaranena pashyan tushyati. So then the second definition of samadhi is what? Atma darshanam, again within quotes. It's not that one is seeing the Atma. Atma cannot be seen. That's why the meditation chapter is number 6. After 5 chapters it has come. Because there should be some preparation, and one should have some idea of what the knowledge is. So seeing the Atma means what? Recollecting the nature of the Atma through the knowledge gained through study with the teacher during the non-meditative state. That is what the other that is what it means. Okay. So then, because of this quote unquote Atma Darshanam Tushyati. Pushyati means not just gets up and jumps around. There is a owning up of the Purnata, the fullness. Otherwise, while fulfilling the roles, one is always Apurna, Apurna, Apurna. Unfulfilled, discontented, disenchanted, etc. But here, seeing the nature of the Atma as fullness itself, I feel that I am full. I understand that I am full. No, it's not a feeling. It's an understanding of the fullness. Then, continuing further, Sukham Atyantikam Yattat Buddhigrahyam Atindriyam वेत्ति यत्र न चैव अयं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः. And now the next definition or the lakshana of samadhi is pointed out. Sukham atyantikam, endless happiness. Endless happiness means limitless ananda. Yatra vetti, where one is united with, where one knows what? Oneness, where one knows oneself to be that limitless ananda. Which is what? Yat atindriya, which is beyond the sense organs, which cannot be grasped by the sense organs. But then how do I know I'm having ananda or I am ananda? How do I know? It is buddhi grahyam. It's a cognitive understanding. That's why I said Vedanta Shravanam, only after it takes place, we can enjoy this kind of dhyana. Otherwise, it is not possible. So it is graspable by the intellect, not the Atma. Atma is not grasped by the intellect. What is grasped by the intellect? The Samadhi is grasped by the intellect. That I am the recipient of this limitless ananda, that I am enjoying myself, is grasped by the intellect, even though it is atindriya, beyond the scope of the sense organs. Because all the joy that the sense organs bring are put up by object, subject, means of experience. And so it is never whole, but here that wholeness is understood cognitively, the wholeness that I enjoy when, not just in the meditative state, the wholeness I enjoy all the time. And so the meditative state is not a place to manufacture that wholeness. I enjoy wholeness all the time. In the meditation, it is highlighted. It's like there is one, what is that? There is one potato festival of all the things. So during the potato harvest in the villages in India, they have a potato festival. And so I have seen one such thing. It was very entertaining. So then there is potatoes everywhere. So there is potato art. So with in one booth, they will put, in small town, I saw this, they will put one small potato, one big potato, and then some toothpicks and make a dog out of potato. So potato art. And then they'll cut the slices of potato and dip it in ink, some kind of a dye, and then block print the cloths, the fabric. So there is potato art, there is potato, in everything, whatever you eat, there's lots of food stalls, and everything has potato. And somebody who's not very fond of potatoes can come and say, what's the big deal? Potato I eat every day. Yes, you eat every day, but here the potato, which is the unsung hero, is highlighted in this one day festival. So similarly, Atma is experienced all the time. Even when you are complaining that I am Apurna, the Purna Atma only is upholding that thought. So it is not that you are not experiencing the Atma all the time, but here the experience is highlighted because I shut out all the other experiences so that I can focus on this and claim myself to be that. So yatra veti and cha eva sthitah means remaining in which, yatra veti, where one understands that purnata which is cognized by the buddhi but not by the sense organs. Cha eva, and further sthitah chalati tatvatah, sthitah ayam na chalati, ayam yatra cha eva ayam na chalati. The na here, na ayam chalati should be taken as ayam na chalati. This person does not move or slip from what? Tatvatah, from one's true nature as Satchidanandam Brahma. So this is not producing the knowledge. This is just assimilating the knowledge. So remaining in which one does not falter, one does not swerve. Na chalati. So this na, don't forget, has to be brought here. Sthitaha, gaining which, being in which, na chalati. Na chalati from what? Does not move. From what? Tattvataha. Tatvat na chalati. From tattva means from the truth of this Atma being whole, the person is no further not deluded, meaning the person assimilates the knowledge deeper and deeper, more and more. Then let us see the next one. Yam labdva cha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tatah. Gaining which? What is this which? Samadhi. Gaining which absorption? Aparam labham, all other gains, one thinks to be not a big deal. Na adhikam tatah. Tatah means tasmat, from that. From that gain of that oneness and that absorption, the total absorption into the truth of the I, and the joy that is the joy that is engendered as a result, the relaxation that I feel, then no matter what I get, I don't consider it bigger than that. Meaning, it's the best labha. Many things you gain over the course of the life, but the gain of the Atma is the biggest and the best gain. No other gain is necessary. Yam labdva cha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tatah. Na adhikam tatah. From that it is not a big deal, not adhikam, not bigger than this. Aparam labham, all the other labhas, all the other gains are not a big deal. The one who thinks, the person who is samadhistha, the one who is practicing this absorption, practicing the nididhyasana here, what? That person says, this is the best gain. Understanding myself as the formless, nameless Atma, not embroiled in all the roles. Husband, wife, child, this, that, mother, father, no people, nothing there, no objects, only subject, and that subject also is what? Free of all vrittis. That subject, free of cares, free of pains, free of sorrow. What greater gain is there than this? And then, even though Lord Krishna is not needed to give a reason, he gives a reason for that. What is the reason? Yasmin sthitaha dukkhena guruna api na vicharyate. Remaining in this assimilated knowledge, assimilating this knowledge, yasmin sthitaha, assimilating this knowledge, guruna api dukkhena na vichalyate, is not disturbed, remains undisturbed even in the face of the greatest calamity. So without the practice of dhyanam or samadhi or nididhyasanam, one becomes a prey to all kinds of calamities, big and small. Even a small things go awry, when small thing also goes awry, then one gets agitated, one gets anxious, one wants to fix it, one wants to do something, one gets restless, one gets afraid. And so, therefore, it is said this is like a kavacha. It gives a great protection against calamity. Because if I know who I am, then whatever is calamitous is what? Whatever is calamitous is anatma, and nothing is happening to me. It is all happening to Calamity Jane. There was some character, either in a movie or a book. Her name was Jane, and wherever she went, there was calamity. Sudden accidents, sudden things, even though she was not really doing it. This is what I hear. So it's like that. So even if I am Calamity Jane, like that character, I am not. Even though I'm surrounded by calamities, I am not disturbed by them. I don't fall off from this knowledge because I'm not disturbed by the calamities that I have to face. Calamities are part of life, I know, and I do not shy away from them, and I'm not disturbed by them. And this is the another great benefit. So sukham atyantiktikam, we saw one more benefit, and then we also said that the person does not move from that, one more benefit. And then the greatest benefit is that it is the greatest gain. Why? Because it protects against all the calamities it protects against. So this is the greatest gain, and more we will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.